Hello there to everybody out there in our Montasy Comics extended universe. I am Adam once again, and it's been a little bit, but we finally have...
Yimmy.
Yimmy.
I am back.
He is back, and he is better than he has ever been before.
Sure.
And I think a lot of that is owing to the restorative power of New York Comic Con.
Absolutely. I am incredibly excited. Post Comic Con, before Comic Con, and at Comic Con.
Comic Con is one of the biggest things that we do pretty much throughout the year. Like, of all of the events that we go to or shows that we do little things here or there sometimes, but Comic Con is really, it's in a league of its own.
Yeah, and as you allude to, right? I mean, we did a lot of planning beforehand, did a lot of thinking about what we need to do and all that and so forth. It is something that we're a lot more involved in throughout.
Yep, we just spent the past, I want to say, about a week ago, the past week, but it's even more than that. Like, there's almost like a month time of planning leading into it, and then that full week was it was an all hands on deck experience. But we have finally returned. We have finally gotten back into the pace of the day to day, and we are happy to report that it was what I would call a tremendous success.
Yeah, it definitely was. We checked off a lot of boxes that, goals that we want to achieve. But most importantly, we got to see a lot of people.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of folks that have not been around for a while. Some weren't there at the last Comic-Con, but they were there at this Comic-Con, and get to catch up a little, meet new people, that may be interested in different comics, cards, etc. And overall, it was great to get a sense of the community in terms of everyone that's there and the excitement that everybody's bringing. I mean, it's really, when you look at it and when you look across, it was pretty tremendous in terms of the number of people and the excitement that everybody had.
When you say community, I think you really hit the nail on the head. Comic-Con is the main just intersection of all of these different hobbies and product lines that we deal in.
Yep.
And it's a moment where so many people locally, like within the city, all of our old friends, and also even regionally, I would say, converge and come together to celebrate, well, let's just say, something that people care a lot about and have a lot of passion for. And you see, even just looking at the numbers of people that we saw this year, you can see that passion really coming to life and people's enthusiasm. Because last year, compared to this year, was a little bit slower. There was a year off. Obviously, in 2020, there was no New York Comic Con. Last year was almost like a kind of a soft opening. It was still at a reduced capacity. We still had fewer turnout. I think a lot of people were less sure about things and stayed home. But this year, it seems like, was really the community coming back out in full force.
Yeah, and when we're talking about community, it's broad-based, right? You have folks that are really into comics, comics-related collectibles. They're into trading card games. They're into all the related products. But I think most importantly, it allows people to sort of reconnect with each other. Talk about, hey, what's in their collection, what has been happening, what they think about what's been happening, whether it's in the Marvel Universe, the DC Universe, or anything relating to the comics in general. So I think it's a great environment for people to be at. I have to say, they do a pretty good job.
Absolutely, and I think we also saw some a slightly different lay of the land than we might have in the past. Different representations of both fans and I guess also exhibitors and attractions, which kind of influences what people are looking for this year. I know that there was a really big presence by Bandai.
Well, yeah, I mean, Bandai typically have a large presence, right? You see, all the different figures from Dragon Ball Super, etc. But this year they also have more trading card games, whether it's Dragon Ball Super, whether it's Digimon, and what they're going to be introducing later on this year is One Piece.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that is probably the most talked about release probably for this year from people who I've seen.
Exactly, and this is from a trading card game perspective, right? I mean, you have Bandai that has the 3 trading card games. You have Konami, who's always consistent. I'm not sure if they were there last year, though, but they were definitely there this year with Yu-Gi-Oh! And then there's also My Hero Academia. Let's not forget MetaZoo, a lot of trading card games were represented. But keep in mind, one of the things that we've always talked about when you're talking about trading card games, not necessarily everybody will play the game. You actually have a tremendous amount of collectors who love the art, who love the cards. And that's where you're getting more folks coming in for whether it's One Piece, Dragon Ball Super, whether it's My Hero Academia, whether it's Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, etc.
And one of the great things about Comic-Con for us is that it gives us a chance to really engage with and interact with those people in a way that we don't necessarily get to on a typical day of the week or a typical day out of the year. Because although we have a great store and have a great community, we are a little bit cloistered. We have a store that if you're coming to it, it's probably because you've already decided that you're interested in and looking for at least one of the products that we carry. When you have something that has such a broad attraction, such a broad appeal as New York Comic Con, something that people go to for so many reasons, it really gives you a chance to encounter people who are really discovering these things for the first time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I think one of the things about the shop is that when people look at, oh, is it a comic shop? Is it a trading card shop? Is it a sports card shop? Is it an entertainment? Is it a Funko shop, right? Yes, we do have a good number of all the products. And the idea is, hey, you get to see, if you're a collector, if you're somebody who's into the hobby, and the hobby could be all spectrum, all areas, we try to have the specific areas. And this is where you really see us at Comic-Con, right? You'll feel like, oh, wow, I didn't know you carry Digimon, or what, you have Y shorts. So it's really a way for us to talk to people, talk to collector, and also get a better sense of, hey, what is it that might interest you more? And it really allows us to get a better view of everything that's going on.
Absolutely. And specifically, although I know we're talking a lot about trading cards just because trading card games are one of the categories that does the best at Comic-Con, or I should say, that we see the most different kinds of people for. Obviously, this is in our own experience. One of the things that you get to see is not just the way that people come out for things like trading cards, which we do carry a lot of, and which we have a lot of different product lines for that tie into a lot of different franchises and properties and forms of entertainment that are well represented at Comic-Con. But we also have things like Funkos, things like other kinds of specialty figures and statuettes and all kinds of adjacent things, like things that relate to our familiar product lines, but kind of dip their toes into a little bit more of the surrounding waters. And it's a real chance to get to connect with those folks as well who might not necessarily be interested in, oh, I don't want trading cards, it's just not for me. But you see, oh, what's that up there? Giant action figure. I'm taking that home with me. And there's still a chance to make that connection, whereas at the store, people are always going to be a lot more targeted. True,
absolutely. And you know, that's giant Funko figures, but also comics, right?
Absolutely.
It is New York Comic Con.
It's in the name.
You could kind of get a sense of, you know, what people are looking to pick up. Whether or not they're interested in the first appearance of Miles Morales. They want some of the new variant covers. One thing that's great about the Comic-Con this year, New York Comic Con, is that you now see a bunch of signers coming in. You know, Peach Momoko. I think there was a Jim Lee special night too. So there are a lot of activities that's happening, that has happened through this Comic-Con that makes it exciting. Makes it a lot of fun in general, for everyone actually.
No, absolutely. That's something that when you have signers like that at the convention, we even see the ripple effect here at the store. Literally on the first day of the event, we had I think at least one person coming into the store looking specifically for, oh, I need a comic by this artist because they're going to be at Comic-Con and I'm going to get it signed. And they needed to come prepared. Yeah,
and it's also funny, we're talking about artists, right? I still remember, I think it was, my sister actually texted me, hey, Michael, I heard Michael J. Fox is there. Back to the Future fame. I'm like, he may be there, but that's another way for people to connect with different, different, like whether it's actors, whether it's artists, anybody that's in the creative arena. It's a pretty good area to be in.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that everybody approaches Comic-Con in a different way. I know some folks who go, all they do is visit panels. But when you really get a chance to be out on the show floor, even if it's just for a brief period, like when we're working there, we always have a little bit of time where we get to get a sense of the lay of the land and really see who's there. Every year you see something new. And I think every year that is something that brings in more people.
Absolutely. And we like to use absolutely a lot too. But it is true. I mean, I think overall, when you're looking at it, when you look at New York Comic Con, it has something pretty much for everyone. And that really allows sort of you to enjoy what is going on. And you get to see the joy of people in their faces in terms of going, oh, wow, look at that. Oh, look at that costume. I didn't know that this was here. I've been wanting to buy this. All right, finally, I will take the plunge. It's that level of excitement that I think that makes it fun, even for us that's being there. It's tiring, don't get me wrong. And we decided to do some other things at the store at the same time.
We had a very fun-packed week and weekend for Comic-Con. It was partly within our control, partly just the fates conspiring. I don't know if I should say conspiring for us or conspiring against us, but if it was against us, I think we showed them. This year, it just so happens that beyond even things that we were planning to do on our own, there were two major releases in trading cards for specifically Magic the Gathering, the Warhammer 40k decks and the new Infinity set, the exact same day during Comic-Con weekend. And when we have new products, there are always new things coming out around Comic-Con. I mean, Comic-Con, it's early October. There are usually major releases, maybe a couple weeks before, a couple weeks after. Sometimes you might have something that overlaps, but to have not only two releases from the same company, but two releases from the same company during that same weekend, you really see the way that people respond and the way that people really come out, both to the store and to the event. Because one thing that we have to look at with that is not just managing the inventory and flow of people as they come in, but people, if they're looking for a new product at the store, they're also probably going to be looking for it at the convention.
Especially Warhammer.
Absolutely. I mean, that was, I cannot hesitate to say, that was the fastest selling and just most heavily demanded Commander product that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the Pokemon Celebration release last year, where during Comic-Con it was ETB, Celebration ETB, Celebration ETB, or Value Box. This year was, oh, do you have the Commander, the latest Commander, the Warhammer? And we were sold out pretty much within a day.
Yeah,
tremendous amount of demand. People continue to ask about it. It is a fun product, but it's something that we had to work through in the store, right?
Well, not just that, but it's weird the pairing of that, because with Infinity, that also means we have events. So that means we also have things that are organized going on at the store that we need to bring people in for as well, and that we need to run and take care of and be on top of. So you have not just two different groups of people, the people who are staying at the store, having a fun time of the new set coming out and playing, and also the people who are coming in and just making sure that they can grab the product as long as it's still in stock. You have those two things that you're balancing, and then at the same time, you also have people coming in from the convention who found out about us there, who are interested about all the other products that we have, because as much as we try to do at Comic-Con, we can't bring everything.
Yeah, we certainly didn't bring everything.
So you end up...
what we could bring, because we don't want to bring too many things back.
So you end up with a real mix of people and a real excitement that you see.
Yeah, and plus, to add on to our ability to multitask, we also decided to have a signing.
Yes, but with all of the excitement going on this weekend, both at the store, at the convention, I have to ask, specifically for 2022, what was your favorite Comic-Con moment?
Favorite Comic-Con moment?
Or the one that left
the moment that I'll remember for quite some time is when I got to chill in the van for about 6 hours.
Only 6 hours?
All right, technically 7 hours. Maybe 7.5. Because I got to look at the phone over and over again. Got to check on the radio station, see who's playing what, while we're waiting to move in to Javits.
And I got to wait for you.
Yes, and I got to see Adam do Macarena.
Many, many times.
Yep.
That's this year's move-in was a little bit of a more protracted process than it often is.
It is.
But we were able to get there in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything works itself out. I mean, I think Adam has heard me say it over and over and over again. Yes, it's a long wait, but I would also say that, we've also had a long wait to see the amount of the excitement and the people that has been here and was there at the 2022 New York Comic Con, and it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Are you going to ask me what my favorite Comic Con moment was? Okay.
Okay. What is your favorite? Since you made me ask you.
My favorite Comic Con moment wasn't even a Comic Con moment. It was an Infinity moment that happened during Comic Con. It was the decision that we made at the very last minute for the people coming in for Infinity to have the fun comedy set and have a good rollicking adventure of a time, to give them all party hats.
Oh, that's
to
nice.
make sure that there was a real festive spirit. And it seemed like a silly gimmick, but then I turned around while everyone was very seriously drafting and building their decks, and just turning around and seeing all these people just sitting there wearing multicolored party hats. It really did bring the afternoon together. And folks said afterward, both from that and just from the overall climate of the event, they had a lot of fun. And fun is one of those things that we're all about here.
No, absolutely. It is really a place where you could get together, have fun, enjoy yourself.
Yeah, and I guess that it will be a little bit before we enjoy ourselves at the next Comic-Con. We've got almost a year in between, so that's a year's worth of planning and prep to do.
Woohoo! Ready to go.
But we've had, again, I would call it another success. And I can only imagine what we'll be able to do in the future.
Yeah, until next year.
Until next year.